If you're a parent, teacher, or school leader, and you're sick and tired of the frustration, anger, and unfair treatment of children at high risk in our public schools, then perhaps it's time for all of us to do something about it. In this podcast, Dr. Amitra Berry brings you tips, tools, strategies, and tactics to build successful solutions while touching, moving, and inspiring all of us to transform our schools so that every child thrives. Here's your host, Dr. Berry.
If you don't stand for something, well, pick your own ending. You'll fall for anything. You stand for nothing. I say, if you don't stand for something, then you stand for whatever you refuse to stand up against. Hey there, equity warriors. Glad we are together again today. You know, last episode I shared the story of an attempted hijacking. A few days later, I received an email forwarded from my assistant. She simply said, "Read below," with some exclamation points. And the email below was from a man named Brent Schwartzmiller, and Brent and I corresponded afterwards. I wanted to make sure I had his permission to share his words, and I want to share his words with you. Dr. Berry, I had the pleasure of attending your session at the OSBA Capital Conference, Recruiting and Retaining with DEI in Mind, on Monday. Thank you. Thank you for advocating for this work. It is needed for all our students and educators. In our session, we had an attendee challenge some of the thoughts presented. She challenged why the color of one's skin should impact teaching and learning, among other things. You and several audience members shared perspectives. They were thoughtful perspectives and on target. However, I have thought of your session frequently this week with remorse for not stepping forward. To explain, I should have stepped forward and shared the following. I'm 50 years old and really just began my deep dive into equity 5 or 6 years ago. I am a white male, and as such, I have been able to stumble through life without really confronting equity and or race and what it means to me. I selected to do the work of seeking understanding. The very fact that I have the opportunity to select this versus having equity and or race prominently influence my life path without my discretion is the very reason I need to continue to do the work and not dismiss the experiences of others. It is important work, and we should be highlighting this in every district in the country. Far too often I have seen and read that individuals of color are asked to become spokespeople for equity and DEI. I contributed to this by sitting silently on Monday. I apologize for not stepping forward to speaking assertively, and hope that if I am in a similar situation, my inaction will turn to action. While my reflection may not have been one of the objectives of your session, I did want to thank you for the forum to have such a learning opportunity. Peace. And salutations from Brent, who is with the Perrysburg Exempted Village Schools in Perrysburg, Ohio. Brent, again, thank you for your letter. Thank you for your words. And my challenge to everyone on right now is to take a lesson from Brent. You see, Brent has shared his part of the journey, getting on that path and recognizing when to step up and step forward. And it's okay that Brent wasn't ready. As I talk about the pathway, your time will come. And Brent, I do hope that next time you're ready. You've got the words. And I think now you have the passion. And this is where I need not just your help, but everyone's help. Be like Brent, right? Not only to stand up when it's time, but to spread this word further. Guys, I think I've asked this before, but leave a review, share the podcast. If you put it on social, more people will be reached than just talking one-on-one. But even more importantly, that you're beginning to do this work, that you're recognizing when you've got a foot on the path forward, because that's critical. Be listening. Stand up. Speak up. And it's okay if you're not always ready. Just work towards getting there. And that will be aided if you join me every week. Send me your questions, topics, and requests to askdrberry.com, and I'll answer those questions and bring you experts to help address those topics. Don't worry about the things you cannot change. Change the things you can no longer accept. I'll see you next time.
That's it for today's episode of the 3E Podcast. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on iTunes will win a chance in a grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 value private VIP day with Dr. Berry herself. Be sure to head over to 3epodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Dr. Berry's gift. Then join us on the next episode.